What's going on, you beautiful peeps? Daily vlog to a main stage EDC episode 28. Guys, I want to try something new, which is breaking down some of my songs, some of my songwriting, some of my process. In particular, just one song that's coming out soon that has some bars in it, because I think that'll be fun. And if you like bars like I like bars, and by bars I mean, poetry, double entendres, slick writing, just creativity, right? Because I love telling a good story, irregardless of wordplay or fun lines. But I also love fun lines and wordplay and entendres, even at the expense of the story a little bit. And it never usually takes too much out of the story to inject that. And I'm gonna break down just one song today, and so we'll kind of talk through this together, which I think will be fun. It never takes too much from the story, but sometimes it does take some, right? Because it's a lot easier to just, like a book, like an actual novel, there's no wordplay in a novel, right? Sometimes there is, I guess, but it's mostly just writing to make the best story. To inject wordplay and entendres, right, you got to get creative, and there's a certain level of, frame you got to rearrange, right? And so the song I want to get into is Believer. It's coming out. I already sent it, so it should be out within a week or something like that. I'm gonna put my notes page where I write everything on the screen right now. I'm gonna try to remember it because I can't see it, but I just looked at it and talked through some of the bars, specifically going through the last three verses. Now, the song Believer, the perspective is a male perspective about a toxic. I don't know if I can say that or not, so I'll spell it. There's a couple words I think I might not be able to say, so I'll spell them. Stay with me. A toxic relationship, and it's in the theme, because I also like themes. It's kind of part of the wordplay piece, themed writing. So the theme is toxic relationship, codependency. I think I can say that word. But then also the theme of afterlife, faith, believer, devil, right? I think I can say that. Hopefully I can say that. And everything in that vein, right? That kind of, haunting afterlife kind of vein. Woo! You guys are gonna love it. I love that. And that's some of my, I've had a couple songs where I dip into that, just because it's just that dark kind of, I love that so much. And I got plenty of moments in my life that are really dark, and I'm sure you do too. And so I'm sure you guys will notice, any of my super fans, or anybody who really has heard a lot of my music, you'll notice there's a lot more sad than a lot more happy, a lot more dark than a lot more light. So we just all connect more with that, right? That's just the human experience. That's not unique to me. So this one's definitely on the darker side. And so getting into the verses again, I'm trying to remember because I just saw them and I wrote it a while ago. The first verse, or these are the second three verses. So you got first three verses, drop, second three verses, drop, end of song. And so the first verse of the second is, you saw every skeleton in my closet. And I love this, and there's a line before it I'm just forgetting, but I love that because obviously I love metaphors, because metaphors, it's kind of like peak wordplay for me, because there's these things we say, cliches, idioms, metaphors, right? Like skeletons in my closet. It's not literal, right? And we all know what that means. But in this realm of like afterlife, it's perfect, because skeleton, you know what I mean? But also skeletons in my closet, referring to like where the bad stuff from our past, the mistakes, the deep, dark secrets. That's also perfect for a song like this, right? Because you saw the dark side of me. So you met all the skeletons in my closet, and then you drowned my house in gasoline and lit it, right? I love that because it goes to a visual place, because skeletons in my closet is a visual, right? It's like you can picture the skeletons in my closet. So you're feeling the emotional, I should say I am, but I hope you are as well, right? I'm feeling the emotional connection to the skeleton. You met skeletons in my closet, right? Like we've all shown people versions of us that were the nasty, the dark, the ugly, right? The mess, the messy, and those deep, dark secrets, right? And so you're feeling that, but then you drown my house in gasoline and lit it. Now you got the visual, like there was actually a closet, burn the house, you know what I mean? DOWN, right? Didn't know if I should finish that sentence. So you burn the house, you know what I mean, all the way to the ground. So This is tough. Hopefully none of this gets, trying to be careful here. So thank you guys for bearing with me with all the word spelling and all that. I'm trying to be careful. But so I love that. And then, is this a fiery love or just ARSON? And in the notes page, I put XRSON because I think it reads the words as well, right? So trying to be careful. Is this fiery love or just ARSON? Because you guys know what that is, right? It's anything related to fire and crime and burning down, stuff, right? So it's a fiery love or just damage or just fiery chaos, right? What is it, right? What is it? I love that. And then the second verse, let me pause this, guys. I knew this was going to be tough. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to look. I'll be right back. Second verse. They say don't dance with the devil. Another metaphor. Perfect. Dancing with the devil. Perfect for this song. But I two-step straight into my grave. Right? Woo! I just love that. Right? They say don't dance with the devil, so I two-step straight into my grave. You baptize me. Now I'm just a vessel. Right? So I love that because it's such a dark song. But when people normally say speak about being baptized, and then I'm just a vessel. I'm a vessel for God or whatever their religion or faith is, right? I'm just a vessel. He comes through me. She comes through me, whatever you believe in, right? And so this is that. I love it because it's that, but for the opposite, right? You baptize me, right? Now I'm just a vessel for you, right? You own me, that kind of possession, codependency, whatever you need from me, right? You got it. Woo! So it's a flip on that. And then in too deep to be saved. I love that to round it out because again, when people get baptized, it's, hopefully my phone doesn't overheat too. It's, I got saved, right? I got saved. I got baptized. I got saved by God, whatever you subscribe to, right? Whatever beliefs you subscribe to. So that's what I love is like, you baptized me. Now I'm just a vessel for you, but I'm in too deep to be saved, right? So it's like, again, the opposite. So I'm just like counter the whole way down, like the opposite of I just keep flipping what it is, right? So you baptize me, now I'm just a vessel for you, in too deep to be saved. The opposite of when most people say I got baptized and now I'm just a vessel, I got saved, right? So I love that. Let me check the last verse, be right back. All right, guys, now it's Devils in Details. Another one, Devils in the Details, but I did Devils in Details just to be a little bit different because I did a couple direct copy metaphors already. Devils in Details, right? You drew a fine line that I crossed. This is one of my favorite lines I've ever wrote guys, because, and I'm curious, as I'm going through this, I want you guys to think like, did you catch the bar, right? Because that's what's fun, because I love listening to a song, and you find more of this in like rap, but like a lot of genres have wordplay like this, right? But when we say bars, typically it's rap. Let me wipe my camera real quick. Some dang spit on it. It's normally rap, right? So I love listening to bars and then, trying to go back through or reading the lyrics. And then, so try to catch the bars, and I'm curious what you hear, or even different versions, where it's like, oh, that made me think this. And it might be something that I didn't even intend. And that's even better. So Devils in Details, you drew a fine line that I crossed. I love that line because it's devils in details, like devils in the details. So that's a metaphor in the devil afterlife dark theme. And then you drew a fine line that I crossed, right? I love that because that's another metaphor, right? Don't cross the line. You drew a line and I crossed it, right? So it's like there was a barrier, right? And again, it's male perspective to a woman. So you drew a fine line, like, don't come over here. You don't want this, right? Woo! That I crossed. I dove in. I'm a vessel. You own me. I'm in. I crossed the line. It's too late, right? You drew a fine line that I crossed. But it's also a bar because Devils in Details, you drew a fine line that I crossed. The cross, right? Devil, cross. Ah! And I feel like that is something that would go over like almost everybody's head. Maybe I'm not giving everybody enough credit, but the bars like that go over my head all the time because it's a metaphor. So you hear the metaphor. Devils in Details, you drew a fine line that I crossed. It's like, you just think, oh yeah, like makes sense. Like, you're in the visual, you're in the emotion. She drew a fine line that he crossed, right? So I miss bars like that all the time. So I feel like a lot of people, if I don't break that down, it might go over your head, but devil, cross, right? So bar, I love that. And staying in the faith afterlife theme. The other bar in there, Devils in Details, you drew a fine line that I crossed. Details, fine line, right? A fine line is a detail. Come on. So I hope it's as much fun to you guys as it is to me, because I love writing. I love writing. So not just my writing, I love writing, right? I love great writing. So yeah, the next bar, then we put up our nose and called our dealer, right? And I should say, with any bars about drugs, I'm tapping into truths from my past. I'm also tapping into truths from other inspiration, like other writing, other great songs, other people's experiences. Not everything that I write is about me, not even close. A lot is, but not, I will never just limit my writing to my experience, right? Because I think that's just so restrictive. And I respect any artist that does, but, for me, there's so much to write about. Like, there's so many things I haven't experienced that other people have experienced, that I've watched on a podcast or I've heard in music, or that I want to write about, because it's powerful. It resonated with me, even if I hadn't gone through the exact same circumstance. It resonated with me. So for anything about drugs, I should say that if I am writing from my perspective, then I'm tapping into a perspective from the past, because all that stuff is in my past, and I'm not glorifying it. I would never glorify it. And even being a DJ in the EDM scene, I will talk about this more later. I don't do any drugs, and I never will again, but I have. All right, guys, sorry, this is a long one, and then my phone overheated, and so this one's gonna be pretty choppy, but I'm gonna hold it like this. Might be a little shaky, but yeah. So I was getting into the topics about drugs, and so again, not even close in terms of all of my writing is just about me. A lot of it is, but a lot of it isn't, because I don't want to restrict myself to that. And there's so many amazing experiences of life that I've shared and learned, and heard from people and watched on a podcast, and just saw other songs that resonate with me. I want to do my take on, so that's just some insight into me as an artist and my writing. But specifically about drugs, any topics about that, it's either not about my own personal experience, or if it is, then it's everything from the past. Because even as a DJ in the EDM scene, obviously there's so much, it's a big part of the culture, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because obviously there's so many downsides to it. And I can appreciate the spirituality in almost all modalities. Like, there's so many ways to be enlightened and be a better version of yourself, and a lot of them involve altering your mind. And I still drink. And so, this isn't a holier than thou thing. It's just, it's just an insight into me. As you hear anything about drugs, it either was not about me or it was about me, but I'm dipping into something from the past, because I don't do any of that anymore. I never will again. And yeah, that's just me, but I don't judge anybody. I know the consequences, and I hate to see that, right? And I don't wish that on anybody. That's why I say, unfortunately, and downsides for its place in our culture, because a lot of people suffer, right? And a lot of people have been hurt. A lot of people have died because of that. And I've also had plenty terrible experiences myself. And so that's why I say that. But again, I don't judge. And so anyway, just want to make that clear. So, and I say all that to say this next line, right? Which is, we drew a fine line that I crossed. Devil's in details. You drew a fine line that I crossed. Then we put up our nose and called your dealer. We put up our nose. You guys know what I mean, right? COKE. You drew a fine line. So now it's another bar tied into fine line, because obviously, again, I hate to sound like excited while I'm saying this, because I would never glorify any of this stuff. It's just connecting to a past. What I'm excited about is the writing. You drew a fine line that I crossed. Then we put it up our nose and called your dealer. We put the fine line up our nose and called. You guys get it. So, yeah, that's that bar. Never found more being lost. Now you're kneeling before me like a believer, right? And so that's the last two verses. Never found more being lost. So obviously this whole song is lost, chaos, codependency, no grounding in reality or hope or safety, right? Never found more being lost, meaning finding her, finding trouble, finding chaos, being lost. So that's a bar, right? Found, lost, so, and then now you're kneeling before me like a believer. Obviously she's kneeling before me. You know what that means. And then also kneeling before me like a believer, like prayer, right? So that's it, guys. That's my song breakdown. I think this might be the longest vlog yet. Thanks for bearing with me with all the spelling. A lot of these are going to have some of that, just because I want to be careful, obviously, and never want to do anything to risk any of my platforms. because they're the most important thing to connect with you guys. So thanks for bearing with me with that. And hopefully I made sense about my own perspectives on DRUGS and how I write and my writing in general, not being just tied to me and my own personal experiences. But the ones that are about DRUGS are in the past, and that's not part of my life now. I would never glorify that. But I will write about it because it's my experiences from the past, or it's other people's experiences about that I want to write about, that resonate with me in one way or another, I want to share. So yeah, continuing on this black format with this format. So this is day 28. Again, we're going to do one of these a single day on the black format, on the black short format, and see if we can finally build something on there, because the purple app is great, but we have never been able to crack this black format. So thank you for liking, sharing, engaging. This is all you're going to see from me on this app once a day for a while, maybe a month, to test it out. And I hope we can build something. So appreciate you guys. Love you. Let's go.